Good evening everybody and welcome to our Sunday. Good evening everybody and welcome to our Sunday Fireside Chat. My name is Mark. I've missed out on a little bit of drive this afternoon, but I really had a fantastic evening. We sat with those zebra and wildebeest and we had some really good times with them. We're going to be waiting for Scott to move in with us, and in the meantime we've got a bit of a wind blowing. We've got a lot to talk about this evening. It is coming to the end of our 3-month stint here at Djuma Game Reserve. It's kind of a sad evening because it is our last Sunday. It is getting closer to the time that we're going to be saying goodbye, and we are saying goodbye to one person this evening. Will be Jason, and we'll bring him on also later, and we'll chat to him and have his views. But we're hoping that things go well, and we're hoping that at least one day we'll come back to you. But for now, we've still got a week of drives left to go, and we're not going to be too sad about things coming to an end. But just for this last fireside chat, a little bit different. We're going to be cooking some of our usual boerewors a little bit later, which has sort of become a standard now on our fireside chats. Important that we have a little bit of tradition to go along with it. You make a fire, you might as well use it, otherwise it's a waste of energy. And fortunately we don't do it too often. I enjoy fires. Fires are kind of it's a time when people get together. There's something primal, there's something emotional about having a fire. It's almost like watching water, and especially when you're sitting around the bush at night with a fire, you have the sounds of the bush around you, of cicadas and things, but also every now and then, if you're lucky, the sounds of hyena or lion or the cough of a leopard. Sometimes all it is the hoots of an owl, or that lovely high-pitched call of a pearl-spotted owl. But there are night sounds that kind of heighten the senses in a different way to listening to anything or seeing anything during the day, because a lot of it is left up to the imagination, and nothing stirs the imagination more than having a fire out in the middle of the bush, which is where we are. We were here with elephant this week. We've been here with zebra and wildebeest. We've had times sitting around this fire these last few months where we've even had, when Hayden and Peter were here, we had a leopard climbing a tree right behind them. So we've had a very, very special time, a lot different to the fireside chats of the past, in that it has been out here in the open, and it's almost been like we are part of everything around us. Right now there's cloud that has come over. It's a big front that has moved in from somewhere in the south, and it's moving up along the escarpment. Caused a little bit of a grey sky, but it's got a lovely closed effect. It's a low hanging ceiling. It's a little bit warm and humid, a little bit of a wind, a little bit of a breeze blowing, and it's one of those very typical summer nights that become forgotten in the dryness of winter, when the air is chilly and there are nearly half as many sounds as we hear now. I'm hoping that during our fireside chat this evening we'll be able to get a few sounds coming in from the background. The weirdest thing is that last week Scott and I were chatting. We were so engrossed in what we were talking about, we didn't even notice that there was zebra behind us, and I guess that's how things go. And we're sitting here with lights and fire in front of us. That's something to really take note of, is that you can be so concentrated on what you're seeing inwardly you forget what there is outwardly. And it's times like that that it's very important to keep your ears open. And well, I suppose it's hard to do when we're talking so much. We want to have some questions in. We want to keep in mind that it is going to possibly be, well, it's our last fireside chat, and we've got some of the guys that are going to be leaving. Jason leaving tomorrow. He's going off to university. Wishing him well, which we'll do later because I don't want to get all teared up now. But with that happening, I would like you to start thinking about some questions that I would like you to have send in, either through Twitter, which is #SafariLive, or whether it's questions at wildearth.tv. Maybe 1 or 2 questions for each of the guys, and we're going to try for somehow we'll get it right, that I'm going to be joined by each one of the guys. And I think maybe I should start now, even with Brian or Jason, one of them at least, to come and join me so that we can chat, because Jason's going to come in. I think that's important. I think we need to just chat about 1 or 2 things. Always tradition around the fire is the handshake. And I should have used you when we were filming the comparison with me and Elephant, because you're taller than me.
Oh, sorry.
How tall are you? 6?
1 meter 83.
That's 6.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's about 6 feet in my book.
But yeah, last time I measured myself was in school, so I could have
Grown. I think you're still growing.
possible.
I think you're still growing. I've had an amazing time with Jason, and I think it's something that I'd like to continue, because Jason has been really very inquisitive about all the plants, but it's not only what you've been inquiring about, it's kept me on my toes.
Likewise, I've learned, I don't know, I'm going to say this a lot tonight, but I've learned so much from you.
Yeah.
And you are the only person that's really interested in the same things that I am in terms of botany and fauna and flora. So you've answered a lot of questions that I've always been asking a lot of people, which is awesome, and you've got me even more interested in the smaller things or learning about, I don't know, subspecies of things. I've never thought about subspecies of things. And now you got me thinking. I've got books in mind. I'm going to go buy some books. I'm going to keep learning. It's just so interesting, and you've taught me so much about these things, so thank you.
Okay, well, you're going to also have a lot of learning on your hands because of varsity that's coming up.
Yeah, but no one... I got at least 1 year of slack in varsity.
What, you mean first year?
Yeah, first year.
Party year?
Yeah, no, actually I'm going to knock it down.
Be serious on it.
Almost, it's time, settle down. I've had my party.
Yes.
I've had a lot of fun this year. I've done a lot this year. So it's time. I've had my first year.
Okay. Funny, I was given that advice when I came out of the army. I wanted to come to the bush. I was 20 years old. I'd already done 2 years, even in a war zone, and came out of the army at the age of 20. All I wanted was the bush, and I was told I was too young, that I needed to go elsewhere to be able to get some experience in the city and get the city out of me to come to the bush. But I think, in a sense, you've done similar. You've gotten this out of your system now. Time to get down to some heavy
graft.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know that we'll probably cross paths again.
Definitely, 100%.
I think you've got all the makings of a good camera person.
Thank you.
Cameraman.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
have to be politically correct.
Cameraman. I'd love to be a cameraman. No, it's really exciting job. It's got perks. It's scary sometimes. Not very scary other times. It's amazing sometimes. You don't actually know what you're seeing. It's ridiculous how you could be here so close and so almost engulfed in what's happening out there that you sort of have to step back and say, wow, this is incredible.
This is what you do.
How is this my job? How am I?
Yeah.
This is my life. This is incredible. This is what people dream of doing. So I've had a couple of those moments where I've had to step back and say, well, take it all in, because this is pretty incredible.
I suppose it encourages you also to do well, because you're going to be studying a very similar thing, isn't it?
I'm
isn't
doing
part of your studies?
Yeah, film and television. That's where I'm very glad I've met and spoken to both Brian and Viam, because they've taken there was almost a dream world.
Yeah.
Film and television dream world, and they've taken me out of it, not so that I'm panicking and like, oh, what a bad job to do, what am I doing with my life. More of a there's play, but you got to work, and there are certain ways to go about doing things that you can learn a lot more and be more productive and self-sufficient in terms of what you want to do and how you want to get there. And that's something I've learned. So I'm kind of moving around what I want to study in the film and television branch, I suppose. Industry, good word. But now I've kind of focused on what it really is about and what I really need to focus on.
Yeah.
So
I think you're going to be way ahead of some of the guys that are, and girls, of course, some of the students you're going to be studying with, in that you've got this. Well, you've certainly got one or two things under your belt that nobody else will ever have, because you've had some experiences. Yeah, and we not only the one incident, of course, but many experiences.
Definitely. The other day I was on the phone. I was talking to one of my friends, and they're like, so how's it been? I said, well, there was this one thing with this leopard, and then there was this other thing with this buffalo and this lion, and then it kept going until I'd used up all my talk time, and they had to phone me back because there was just so much to talk about.
And you
don't think about it in your everyday life. Also, when I talk to my parents, my family, it's just, okay, we have to go, we've got lives, we'll talk to you about your cool adventures some other time, okay, bye, kind of get over your...
Scotty's here, come and join us, Scotty.
Good evening. How is everyone doing?
The fire
looks very good. Ramiro,
Yes, sir.
Marcus.
Hiya, Bookie.
Where am I supposed to be?
Other cameraman, good evening.
Okay, move up the couch.
Which way?
No, there's plenty of space. I'm comfy. I've got a
Okay,
good perch. Thank you.
Good.
Sandwich.
Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Looking a never-ending quest for leopard.
We've been pretty lucky about it lately.
We have, and the luck has come out, has run to an end today.
No, I was going to say, I thought you were lucky again.
No luck. But really interesting to see his tracks on top of my footprint, so that was nice from earlier on the
Was
this
it that
morning's
big
drive.
male from Zoe's Road?
I don't think so. I think it was
One of the boys.
yeah, either Kanyuma or Quarantine, I'm guessing. So
And that was near Treehouse.
heading towards Treehouse Dam from Shabam Road. So yeah, that
Seems
was
to be
good.
spending a lot of time around there.
Yeah, and he's taken the same exact path twice now, where I saw his tracks on top of my footprints, and then he veered off the road on an exact same path that he's taken before. So good for us in being able to find them, but it didn't really pay out this afternoon.
I had fun.
Yes, it was fun. I really enjoyed the riverbed activity with you.
I heard about that.
It was lots of fun. Except
Yeah.
we almost ruined the whole
Got
vehicle.
under the carpet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It veered out of the 2-track and started heading towards the riverbank.
I think it was one of the gremlins that we've had in these vehicles all along. We've always had gremlins that do things that are unexpected. So, it's been his last day.
It has, Jason.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's been
over.
a wonderful few months.
Weren't we
I'm so
supposed to
glad.
dunk him in the dam or
It's not too late.
It's too late.
hang him
not
up for
too
leopard
late.
bait or
Curfew.
This
something?
We have
evening.
to get back
This
to
evening.
Magnoleti. I can't
The
swim.
cover of darkness, we can be more mischievous.
There's a camera. There's a camera. Can't do it. They'll know who it was.
I don't know if we have any questions for Jason that might have come in from Alex, but in the meantime, if you want to chat to Jason and see what...
Yeah, Jason,
your
it's been
thoughts
wonderful having you on board here.
Thank you.
Lots of good times along the way, lots of laughs, and
Too many laughs.
yeah, and look forward to hearing how university treats you. And I'm hoping that if there are any future projects and they coincide with university holidays, you'll be pulled in.
I'm hoping to actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if I have anything to do with it. Question which is, I think, a universal question, because I think there are a lot of people that have been asking this. How did the name Romeo come about? Are we allowed to go there?
I don't know. I don't.
I'll say something on that, and you'll think about that. But when I got here, we were told that everybody had to have a nickname, and I don't know how a lot of the nicknames came about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we need a radio call sign. And
So it was R for Romeo,
yeah,
or Romeo. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
it was alphabetical. I got
It's the because you're a pilot.
R for pilot.
R for Jason.
Exactly.
Yes, I don't know where the R comes in.
There's an R in my surname somewhere. I think that's how it came about.
Okay, Romeo. Romeo it was. Not
Yeah.
well, I guess J for Justin. J is Juliet. Couldn't be Juliet, so it had to be Romeo. How's that for
Exactly.
logic?
There we
Exactly.
go.
We
That
went through
was
the same process.
Where it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get that.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's how it went.
We also might need to work on something about this. Getting coals out of this.
I think we scrap it personally for this evening, but if
I think it's a bit too hot
yeah,
for now. Well, I thought with the wind, we might just cook it when we get back home, I guess.
exactly over the next fire.
Yeah.
It'll be a two-fire evening this evening.
Or we'll just stay here all night and just go and drive from here in the morning,
That's also a good option. It's a good option.
if the wood lasts long enough. You've got BM with you? Maybe
Tuck
we
and change.
Yeah.
Tuck
think-
and change.
I think they'll give you a break from the spotlight.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do this.
What,
There's lights coming from all sides. I don't know what's near me.
Yeah, and then you
Blind.
forget whether the camera's there, or if it's there, or if it's that green light over there.
I don't know. I've just been doing a little scan about. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys.
Okay, we'll call you
Catch
up
you later.
later maybe if we
Okay.
run out
Cool.
of time.
I'll run.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Jason.
joining us, and good luck with varsity. And I think also because it's Fireside Chat, the last one that we're going to have, I wanted to just bring each one of the guys up and just to say hello, and hopefully we'll get a question out of our viewers that might want to address it, or ask a question of whoever's up next.
You want me?
Yeah, I want you.
Yeah.
I want you sitting here. How's it?
Up, Mark?
Good. It's been good having
How's
you
it,
too.
Vim?
Scott? What's up?
Good to see you again.
Vim is another character who we're going to be missing for a little while.
Yeah, well, it's last week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week that you're going to be here, and hopefully that if Wildearth ever gets back together again, that
Yeah.
because it's been great working with you.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
We've
Mr.
had
Fix
fun.
It. VM is Mr. Fix It. He can fix anything out of anything, which is a useful person to have out here where resources are limited. So,
How have you found it? How have you? I mean, it's been a first sort of bush experience.
Yeah, this would be the first production in the bush that I actually worked on.
Yeah.
I've more been into OBs, outside broadcast stuff, but
Yeah.
this has been incredible. It's a bit, how would I put it, unorthodox. But I like it, yeah.
Putting it mildly, I suppose. Unorthodox. Yeah.
good
Because
VM.
you've also been behind cameras a lot in studios
Yeah, well,
with our local
Sporting
broadcasting
events and,
company and stuff. So I guess it's slightly different to those cameras. What are the cameras that you use? I mean, you're using completely different things. The big box things
yeah, it's
in
more
the
of a
studio.
modular camera. They won't last on these vehicles a day, but,
No, I think
but
the
they
cameras
are
that we
incredible
have.
machines. But yeah,
Do you think these cameras go through a beating?
I'm amazed they lasted. That must be, especially that little screw that attached it to the vehicle, that little
Yes, on
plate.
that
It's
monopod.
so small. I thought it would break off in the first week.
I suppose we don't really think of that when we're driving. We
No, sometimes if you
we're
need to
just
hurry, you
driving
need
and
to
chasing
hurry.
well,
Yeah,
chasing after animals and getting sightings, and
yeah.
So me and Brian have started wrapping the cameras with the bungee cords.
yeah, we noticed.
Bit of extra support.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is something to be said for the manufacturers of the cameras that little single tripod mounting can
Yeah.
withstand a short wheelbase vehicle bouncing around through the bush after.
Yeah, manufacturers don't listen to camera person. It's engineers. And,
No,
Yeah.
do you think they should?
And VM, what are your plans after this? I'm sure a lot of the viewers will be interested to know what you've got planned for the next couple of months.
Well, I'm definitely not finished in wildlife. Take a
Okay.
bit of break, go back to the city, just get my affairs sorted there, and hopefully I'll be back in the bush by mid-year
Okay.
at least.
And thinking of maybe, I remember just with us chatting, you said you might be doing some of your own filming and trying to maybe just get some of your own footage out there,
Definitely,
which would be cool.
I want to see if I can produce something.
Well, you've got an amazing
Yeah.
camera. That's already a good kickoff point.
Yeah, well,
I mean, not to mention what you've
otherwise I'm sorted. I just need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get out in the bush and do it.
Now, folks, VM's been working on an incredible video that he's putting together on a lot of his older footage, as well as some of the footage that he's captured here. So stand by, and I'm sure he'll post it at some stage. It's going to be an incredible video. The clips that I've seen so far have been really awesome. So when do you think you're going to finish that by? A couple of weeks? Or
Basically finished, I just need one more shot.
one final shot? Okay, well,
Which
you
is
got
at the
1 week
swallows.
to get
Yeah,
that.
I'm
for
very
the bird
cool.
display.
I haven't put that one in yet, maybe
Yeah.
that would work.
Well, we're going to try. This last
Yeah.
week, we've got to try and get as much as we can. In fact, we're going to try and cram. We might try some different things in FC. You might have seen Alex doing really quick, and also VM was doing it in FC the other day, doing quick switches over from vehicle to vehicle. And as long as we're going to have content on, I think we'll try and bring you the best we can in this last week of filming. I had a question from a number of viewers. They wanted to know what you think your sort of best experience was. What is your sort of best, your most memorable moment from your time here these last few months?
Back when Hayden was still here, Hayden and Peter, me and Hayden was out following quarantine, right? Yeah, from Treehouse Dam, but we ended up following it past the old Ahina Den, all the way up almost to actually past Impala Plains.
Really?
Yeah, but
Jeez.
what made that experience different was the equipment stopped working, so we lost signal, and we had that entire 3 hours just following the cat, hoping to get signal again.
And you didn't
But-
have to broadcast.
Yeah, it was sort of like like you were talking, a private guide experience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Being
wow.
guided by
Hayden Turner. It didn't even occur to me, but it suddenly struck me how amazing that would have been.
Yeah, that was fun.
You're lucky because I got a few moments with Hayden. I managed to chat to him a while. Of course, I worked with Peter before, and Peter and I are good friends from before. But I only recently learnt about Hayden's exploits in other parts of the world and other parts of Africa, and he is a mutual friend of a friend of mine who I work very closely with, Marius Swart and Steve Ross Kelly, but I never got that opportunity to spend any time with him in the bush, and I think I'm at a huge disadvantage. It must have been amazing to be with. So Hayden, we miss you, and well,
Yeah, we do. Hayden and Peter
for joining us also, and Peter as well.
I have to say, all the guides is just different experiences. No one better. It's like an incredible experience, especially you, Mark, with your knowledge of the smaller things. And you always find a leopard, Scott.
Not always, only the last few days, so I'm going out on a high with you, but it's only been the last few days. But thanks, VM.
Yeah, we've actually, it's been amazing how you've managed to bring the leopards out.
Yeah, but it is, like VM said, between the 4 different guides and just more recently myself and yourself, each different guide, like anything in life, there's people with slightly different benefits or slightly better expertise within the same industry, and Mark's a classic example. He's knowledgeable in all departments, but especially in some of the less well-known departments like the smaller animals, so it can be useful, very useful. If I find something, I know that there's somebody that can identify it and tell you about it, so it all works really well, being able to team up together. And unique, because if we were on a regular safari, if we take today for example, and we zoomed in on that one bug that we didn't have a clue what it was, it would be very difficult to find an immediate answer and have my guest be able to hear your story about it. But here we can immediately just switch over to you, hear your story. And
it's incredible. Also, when you had that twig wilter bug the other day, hippo making a noise. Sounds like out of the water actually, somewhere behind us.
that is true.
But it was that exactly that. Scott found that twig wilter bug, and a picture was sent to FC. You managed to get it tweeted to Jason or Brian. That was Brian, huh?
Yeah, Brian was on the video that day.
And next minute I had this picture of this bug over my shoulder, and I could tell them what it was, and it was great. Like today I was in FC and I saw Scott had that jewel beetle, and it's really an amazing jewel beetle because it's the biggest jewel beetle you'll ever see.
Really?
Yeah. And probably one of the oldest beetles you'll ever know. It's older than you. Really? Probably even older than you.
It could well be. It could well be. I've forgotten how old I am.
Could be even up to 40 years old by now.
That's crazy.
It is. To know that it actually, for most of its larval life, it was up to maybe 4 decades old, and now it's out for 1 season, and you managed to catch it that one day when it's out.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting fewer and fewer and far between.
Good, Vim. Well, thanks very much. Good to hear your plans, and it's been wonderful spending time with you and having you on this little crew. So all the best for the future.
We're going to get the best shots this week.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to make up for it, you know.
Okay.
But also you come up to the Timbavati, and I will make a deal that you come and stay, but I get some of the footage.
Okay. And next time I come down to Kruger, I'll come past you first.
Okay. We just also had a question that came in wanting to know is, if you're going to make this video, how is it accessible? Where could somebody see it? Is it going to be available? Are you going to put it, you're going to...
You put the link on
Twitter.
Yeah,
I usually put my stuff on YouTube, and then I usually just share it on YouTube or now Twitter. I discovered Twitter for the first time.
Okay. Well then, as long as, I suppose, if you know VM through any of the mediums, any of the social media forums, if not, we'll certainly get to know of it, and we'll like it, and then spread the word through all the viewers.
Cool, yeah.
And this is one of the things that we will be keeping in touch with, I'm sure. I've got a bunch of photos that hopefully I'll process after the drives are done. I know Scott, certainly being a photographer, I'm not even a photographer, but you're a videographer and a photographer. You're probably both going to be putting stuff up over the time that comes now, and whatever we're going to be doing. But we'll be sharing it, and I think that's what's going to keep us as a community together. And maybe there'll be another project coming up at some point where we'll get together and reminisce over those times and have these memories to look at. It'll always be there on YouTube. Thanks for joining us.
Alright, cool.
Cool, thanks, Phil.
Sorry to put you in the spotlight.
No, that's okay. I have to do it sometime.
But I thought you had to say hello and goodbye. People had to get to see you properly. And now, the thumb. Do you think we could get the thumb without Brian first? I'd like to see what the thumb has to
Thumb is nothing without me. Thumb is nothing without me.
The thumb is nothing without you. No, it isn't. Okay, I should have put you next to the tree when I had that giraffe because...
Hi, Uncle Brian.
Yes,
Yeah.
the tall giraffe of our crew. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
I'm very good, and you?
I'm good.
Good. Been good working with you again, dude.
Definitely.
We last worked together in Thornybush a couple of years ago. Year and a half.
Year and a half, 2012.
2012. 13.
2013. Early 2013. That's how long ago it was.
It goes by so fast, but yes, we're in 2015 now, so yeah, it would have been 13. About 18 months ago
Yeah.
that we finished. It was a wonderful time in Thornybush. We did have some good times. We didn't have the game viewing that we have here, that's for sure. How have you found that?
Yeah, no, the game viewing out here has been superb compared. I think it was just out of season or dense bush.
Well, it was dry season and it was down there. But I think what makes it different here is that it is part of the greater Kruger.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. We're not multiple different elephants and so many. Have you counted how many lion you've seen?
I've seen how many different prides now? I've seen a number. I think maybe totaling 20 different lion in total.
Yeah, and probably 5-6 different groups.
Yeah.
Probably all the lion that we're likely to see, I think, by now. Yeah.
No, the viewing's superb out here. The viewing is absolutely fantastic.
And the time of year must have also been a nice change compared to the winter, because you filmed through the winter, which sounded quite brutal.
Yeah,
And just different in terms of scenery.
No, definitely. We filmed through the start of winter, through April, May, June and July, and it was bitter. It was those mornings were icy, those mornings were something to contend with.
And we were bundled up.
Yeah.
Scarves, gloves,
The works.
jackets, layers and layers and layers, and we would start peeling them off at about 8-9 o'clock in the morning.
I think there's that video, that short video of you, and you can see me on the camera there also. Buff,
Yes.
beanie, gloves, trying to keep warm.
Well, it's summer and you're already starting to wear our morning commute. Well, it has been cold, I have to admit. It's a difference between holding the steering wheel and catching the wind coming over the dashboard and holding the steering wheel. Have you found that?
No, 100%. I'll sometimes even pull my sleeves over my hands.
I've seen you try to hide from the cold there.
Try and duck down under the steering wheel because of our commute in every day. You've got plans after how you'll film, because you've been with Wildearth. We filmed the surrogates, the meerkats. Brian was on the meerkat project. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was on the meerkat project in the Kalahari for 11 months through 2012.
Yeah.
That's when I first started working for Wildearth. I started in May 2012 and ran through until I came to Thorny Bush. Absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I don't even know the Kalahari. I know so many other
red
areas
sand,
in
the
Africa.
dunes, the different terrain. Compared to this, it's miraculous how different it can be. And of course, 11 months with meerkats.
Did you have them? Are there pictures now of them climbing on the camera people?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
climbing on the cameras.
We were naughty. They would get very close, and now and then you'd sneak a little
Tap on the head.
tap on the head.
I was asked today if I've ever touched an elephant, and I've been tempted in my past in different places where I've had elephants virtually standing there where I could have, but I've always resisted touching a wild animal.
These animals, they would come to us. They got to know us so well that you would be standing there filming, and when we had the old rig where it was quite a big piece of equipment down there, people will remember the low view with the 2 GoPros.
Yes,
and
I remember that
stereoscopic.
thing. Because you didn't have a big balancing thing.
Yeah, and the big aerial behind and the batteries, and you would be standing there and then one would hop on the front so you couldn't move, and then you'd have 2 climb on your boots. So you'd stand there. Great, meerkats all over you, can't do a thing.
In a 30-degree Kalahari heat.
Yeah, and there are photos of the other presenters that we had, Vim and Mags, also standing there, cameras, meerkat on their head, meerkat on their bag. Absolutely crazy.
I can't imagine what that must be like, but the closest I come to it is I have a family of dwarf mongoose at home, and when I'm sitting at my little table, they come and sniff my feet, and of course I don't have shoes on, And that's sort of a memorable moment for me, that they get that close and I can sit dead still in it. But it must be amazing that they feel so trusting to climb onto you.
Yeah. No, it's an incredible experience. Something that just made me want more. And thankfully, I got another taste now. Another taste of filming live. No, it's great. It's fantastic.
Good, Brian. Good. And any plans for the future for you?
Plans for the future, wherever the wind takes me. Hey?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. No, nothing set in stone.
Maybe we can try and fly our kites on the same day and see where we get blown to.
Indeed, you shall.
The question that's come in is about the thumb.
Oh, thumb.
I think you're bound to have known that there's a question about that. What's the inspiration? What is is there a story behind it? Is there...
The thumb, not really, to be honest. The thumb actually came in when we started with Big Cat Week. And we started with Peter and Hayden, and they would say, okay, hi guys, and on camera we had Brian, and I would come in and say, how's it? And I thought...
But you used to do that in Thorny Bush as well, just with a naked thumb.
Yeah, just a naked thumb. And then I thought, why not decorate it? And then it became a little something that I did every time, try to change it up, try and see if the audience out there is quick enough to see it come in. Pow! Whoa! And then it's gone again. So I
think we probably should have had a whole Facebook page just on the thumb alone.
It must be done. It shall be done.
Okay, but then the thumb's got to pop up every now and then in the weirdest of places.
Oh, it will. It had a guest star. It had a guest star of the sausage.
Yes.
Guest star in the sausage fruit.
Yes.
Which was great.
Well, it was the sausage fruit staring as the thumb.
Exactly.
Yes. And the sausage fruit will never be the same again.
It looks cheerful now, though.
Oh, it does. It does. Where is it?
It's in the car, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I think that maybe we're also going to be swapping things, and that Via might have gone to fetch Alex, because we also need to get Alex up here.
Yep.
It's been a really whirlwind kind of visit in that sense, in that working with Brian again was so unexpected. It's really been great though, and I think not to put any favourites out there, but it would be great to work with Jason and VM again, because now that we work together, getting to know how they work, and I think that's maybe something that we had worked together, so it was so easy when you were on the vehicle. You can almost tell what I wanted to do when I was presenting.
Just slotting back in.
Yeah. So I hope that we're going to get this chance again, and wherever it may be, I would love to do it again. I mean, it's in my blood. It's kind of.
I think it's in all our blood
yes,
at the moment.
I think once you've gotten involved in it,
there's something different with live safari. Recorded safari, yeah, recorded safari. Live
I think
safari.
how much editing you have to do. You've got to make it all exciting. Live, it's exciting moments and a lot of times of nothing, but it's going through those moments of nothing that we get to the exciting. The amount of times when we've had a really lovely quiet, I've got blackjacks. When we've had a really quiet drive and it seems like there's nothing, and then suddenly there's a leopard in the road, and there's nothing better to wake, or an elephant or something, there's nothing better to wake up the creative senses and the mind than coming around the corner and finding the very thing that you're not expecting, but it's the very thing that we're doing is that nothing is predictable. I think that's what makes it so different, is that when you're on a documentary project, you're going to film a specific thing, and
well, you can stay there until you get it.
And exactly, but here it's different, because suddenly whatever you've got on screen, that's what you're filming for that moment, and you've got to try and get the best out of it.
And it's happening there and then, live, right now.
Yes, you can't change the light, you can't change the angle of camera, you can't manipulate it, and you can't edit it.
No.
So you've got to do the best as you can as a camera person.
I think that's what's so exciting about it.
Yeah. Is that it's
exactly what's so exciting about it.
The whole story that we're trying to tell with our voices, you've got to create in your pictures, in your composition of your shot.
And I'm the eyes on the back of the vehicle for all the viewers out there. So wherever I'm, I can't even see where that camera is. I'm the eyes for the people, so it's I'm almost, you are narrating and I'm telling the story. I'm showing the people what you are talking about. And it's everything a cameraman could want in a job. I mean, it's something special. unique, and hopefully we can carry on. Hopefully we can do it some more.
Fingers crossed.
Hopefully we can...
There'll be more projects.
I hope so. I hope so. I don't know where I'm going to be going. You going back to Cape Town?
Yeah, I'm going to Cape Town, and I'm going to do a 2-week course there, and thereafter I'm going to go and fly my kite with Brian and see where we go.
We'll be fine then. Maybe you can join us.
I do have to get to the Cape. My brother's there. I have to see my parents, although they're not quite Cape Town, but I do have to get down to the Cape. It's been far too long that I've been around family. Been stuck in the bush for way too long. So I'm looking forward to that, but other than that, yeah, nothing really planned, but a good dose of family, and then see what the universe brings after that.
Definitely.
There was another question, but Alex is going to have to repeat it because it didn't come through properly. Rosie. Oh, Rosie wants to know when you're gonna when she's gonna hear your beatboxing.
Oh,
I think it'll just have to be spontaneous sometime on drive. Unless you can do it, unless it can do an impromptu.
An impromptu? Are you going to rap for us? Are we going to have an MC battle between Scotty D and Mark Weiner?
That's not going to happen.
Not tonight.
A little impromptu.
I think if Wim was still sitting here, you'd have better luck.
Where's Wim? Somewhere out there. I can't see him. Somewhere out there.
I think he took Jigger down, or Wendy down to
collect
Alex. I hope.
Yeah, we can do a little sneak.
A little taster. Well done, Marcus, on percussion. Well done, Brian.
That was for Rosie.
That was for Rosie. We are after Rosie.
Yes.
Well done, Brian.
Yes. Okay, well I'm going to hop off camera here,
Cool.
get behind it again.
Okay,
Thanks,
yes, we're
lads.
going to make sure that it hasn't sort of tilted and
I shall.
we're not in shot. We'll talk about sightings and things.
Cool.
And
Thanks,
catch up with.
Brian. Thanks for all your great work, buddy.
Come closer. So, Mr. D.
How are you, Marcus?
I'm good, bud. Good. I didn't see an elephant this afternoon.
I didn't see an elephant either. I didn't see a leopard. I didn't see too much, actually.
Did you see those giraffe that were in today?
No.
I was lucky to catch up with them. It was
I saw one giraffe this morning, which was nice.
a female or that big bull?
No, it was a medium bull.
Oh.
Which is interesting because there was a smaller bull with that big bull that I saw yesterday at Treehouse Dam, but the one we saw today I think was different. Because tracks came from the south onto Shibam Road.
I saw them on Weaver's Nest. Well, what it was female tracks that came onto Weaver's Nest and headed north. And then I did a bit of a loop because I thought she crossed down towards Twin Dams Road. And then when I came back up from Chelapan, I found her still coming down Weaver's Nest. So I managed to get around her. And she just carried on walking as though she was in a straight line towards Gowrie Dam. And there was that big bull. It's like a chocolate, really dark, beautiful big bull. But had the most amazing opportunity is that I could stand next to the tree. He was standing on a big tambuti. He was feeding on a big tambuti. And after he moved off, we didn't move the vehicle at all, but we kept the camera in the same position so that I could go and stand where he stood. Because it's often not easy for people to get an idea of what the size of these animals are. I mean, there are a lot of people out there that have never been to Africa, they've never been in a vehicle, let alone an open vehicle.
Yeah.
And getting an idea of how big a giraffe really is.
And he's a monster.
Well, I was surprised.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing sitting in a vehicle and he's fairly close. I mean, he's maybe 10, 15, 20 feet away. And you get an idea of the size of him, but you don't until this photograph came out where somebody superimposed the two of us, or me on him, his photo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there I am, because I was standing at exactly the same spot he was, and I was stretching up into the lowest branches of this tambuti. He was eating tambuti, by the way.
Okay.
Which is not that unusual. I've seen kudu eat tambuti as well.
I've seen giraffes do it before, and they actually salivate profusely, I noticed.
And long strands of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It must be that latex.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was amazing. He was probably one of the biggest giraffe I've ever seen. And you had to take my height and...
Yeah, we've been lucky with the giraffe and zebra. I keep telling the viewers that they're often hard to come by, and guides out here can be searching for them on their final morning drive, trying to show their guests a zebra or a giraffe before they depart, and they often would have seen almost everything else.
And they're both iconic animals, and they're such
100%.
they kind of epitomise Africa. Zebra and giraffe are nowhere else, so it's kind of, how do you come to Africa, or how do you get to film anything in Africa without seeing them? We haven't seen giraffe for quite a while. There are a few people out there. There's Fabienne in Canada, and there's Heart Giraffes on Twitter. There are a few people out there that really love giraffe, and we'd love to show you more of them when they come through. But also, by the same token, I know how sometimes the grazing here isn't that great going into the dry season, and you might find zebra tracks, but to actually sit and watch them is pretty hard. Sometimes you don't really get that opportunity. And so the last couple of drives, we've actually sat with this herd of zebra, and we've gotten to observe them quite a lot. There's a vehicle behind us, but it's Wendy. It's remote controlled. Wendy's got sort of on autopilot, went to fetch Alex. Question from you, from Dr. Dave.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
A question from Dr. Dave is, Dr. Dave is my father.
I didn't. Dr. Dave Dyson. Hello, Dr. Dave. Nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to. Have you learnt any life lessons from the bush? But hold on to that answer.
Okay.
Dr. Dave is asking you whether what your opinion is on cheetah versus leopard in initial takeoff speed.
Well,
there was another part about that I didn't get, called about a racehorse or something, but I'm sure Vim will.
Okay. Well, that is an interesting question, and a cheetah versus a leopard over a short distance, it would be very interesting to actually have them head to head and work out at which distances the leopard would be ahead of the cheetah and vice versa. And I think the leopard would be ahead of the cheetah for the first 10 to 15 meters, maybe 20 meters. But thereafter, I think the cheetah's going to leave it in the dust.
I think the takeoff speed.
Yeah.
I think that spring is based on muscle.
At explosive power, they're more muscular, so they can maybe explode quicker over a shorter period. But
I think the bigger comparison, I think a better question would be lion versus leopard, because cheetah's got fairly good takeoff speed, but it's got better build-up of speed, and it's obviously got a stronger threshold for distance than lion or leopard. I mean, leopard probably the lowest of all. The furthest they're going to run after anything is going to be about 20 meters anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of designed for that initial takeoff that has to be faster than its prey. Otherwise, it's never going to catch anything, because they're virtually taking off from almost the same place. Cheetah gains speed, but then there's also supposedly lion having one of them, because of their power and their size, maybe having that initial take, it's almost like a hot rod versus a Volkswagen Beetle type of thing.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to know then. I'm sure there are some fairly accurate studies. No, but from captive animals. With cheetah, they train them and exercise them, chasing those lures. And they've done the same with lions for film and photography, I know.
Yeah.
And obviously also just to time them, I guess. So I reckon there could be some interesting facts out there if we were to scratch around to find out the speeds that they can get up to. But
debatable.
It'll require some scratching around. Yeah, and then again, those animals might not be wild. They're captive, and therefore potentially slightly different to
I would say probably
specimen.
slower, because wild specimens are probably more honed, muscles are more honed.
Exactly.
I think it would be a very difficult thing to measure, but I suppose scientifically, if one had to look at muscle mass and skeletal structure to determine how much that muscle could endure, I suppose you could do it scientifically. And since Dr. Dave is in the scientific field, that maybe a scientific approach might prove or provide an answer.
Cool.
The other thing that Dr. Dave was asking was, is it true that buffalo can run as fast as racehorses?
I find that hard to believe, and I'm not sure where he found that fact, Dad. I don't know what articles you're reading, but I'd be interested to know who told you that buffalo could run as fast as racehorses.
I think you just got to look at the muscle mass and the weight and the.
Yeah.
I think there'd
Look, they can move quickly.
I think there'd be a
But a
pretty close race between racehorse and giraffe
That would be interesting.
over that distance. I mean, considering the length of stride that a giraffe has, I think that maybe that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But then we've also, once again, how do you measure it? We've got those antelope species that are some of the fastest antelope on the planet, the Bessie hartebeest, that are supposedly so fast that they're faster than a racehorse.
But thanks for that question, Dad, and keep them coming.
Where's Dave?
During the week.
In Durban.
Yeah.
Dr. Dave in Durban.
Yeah.
And he's a Dr. Dyson too, so the alliteration is there.
Yeah, Triple D. Now, where is Alex? Is Alex here? Because the time is running away from us.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Alex, out of the final control. Good to see you out here.
Getting a bit of
Yeah, getting some fresh air.
Alex has been a champion of note and spent probably more time in FC than any one of us, including Pete and other Alex and anybody else.
And we appreciate your time spent in there, buddy. We really do, because I think it's the hardest job to have out of our whole team here. Because
it is a team effort. Everybody works their shift.
Yeah.
Everybody pulls their weight. It's fantastic to see.
Good.
It really is. Can't really imagine working with such a better group of people, just with diverse knowledge, experience, and just the personalities. It's been an absolute pleasure working with these guys. I've learned so much from Mark, Scott, Peter, Hayden, Will and Graham, everybody, Brian and VM and Jason, just fantastic guys to work with. Absolutely superb. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
It's been great having a consistency in how you've been operating the director's chair from FC and how smooth things have been running. We've also, it's been an ever-changing thing, so it's constantly evolving as to how we managed to switch between the vehicles. It's been the first time we've actually had this, by the way. We've been broadcasting live drives for many years now, and although there was a time when we had the SD vehicle and the 3D vehicle, or the HD and the 3D, we did have the two vehicles. We weren't switching between the vehicles as much as we are now in terms of relying on both vehicles for a drive. We have tried it before, but never have we actually managed to. And it's taken a lot, don't you think? I mean, your patience has been amazing in that we've had to learn as we go along. It's all one thing for us to present, whether it's presenting to a camera or presenting to guests on the vehicle, but it's also another thing to try and get into that sync with another vehicle and other content on the other vehicle, and then being able to convey that through you with the time, a few second time delay?
The time delay does vary from day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute. But no, I mean it has been a learning curve. But like as all learning curves are, it's beneficial. So
that time delay, is that because it's got to go from the vehicle to the mast and the mast to FC and over to Europe and then back to FC and then to Australia?
I think it kind of goes around the globe to the moon and maybe hits a couple of satellites and then it comes back to control. But no, I mean the technical side, I mean it's Peter Barat, Alex Voss, Graham, they know all the ins and outs of it. They're the ones that have kind of put it all together and brought the viewers this amazing experience for them, which hopefully will convey passions of not just the presenters but everybody else on the team, their passions about Africa, the wildlife and everything else.
For sure.
But that's what brought you here to Africa, isn't it? I mean, your passion.
The wildlife, wildlife, ethology, which like animal dynamics, behaviour, things like that. I was very fortunate enough to be given the opportunity to come and train as a guide. So yeah, I mean this sort of thing has always been a passion of mine, and one of the main reasons for doing the training was actually to try and somehow get a foot into the door into wildlife broadcasting, production, photography, and how I've ended up here is just, I don't know, it's
Well,
just
you know what
it's an amazing coincidence, really.
Yeah,
You know what they say, when you
this.
follow your heart,
We all were.
you kind of find yourself falling into place. The universe kind of works things for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what's around the corner.
And you plan to stay out here in Africa for the foreseeable future, or?
Hopefully, yeah. We'll see how long they let me stay here. I mean, there's more to Africa than South Africa, so there's a whole continent to explore.
For sure.
So I'll have to see what opportunities present themselves. But for now, yeah, for the short term, stay in South Africa. Going to go back to Zulu Natal for a while. Going to Mozambique to do some diving, which I cannot wait to do.
Where about you going?
Sure. I wish I was doing that.
Can't remember the exact name.
Dora, Malangan,
Oro. That's
Dora, Pantadora.
Pantadora,
Cool.
yeah. So I'm going to do some diving there. Hopefully work towards getting my rescue diver within a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. And then after that,
Jeez, then you'll be sorted. Then you can take people diving and take people on safari.
exactly.
Well, yeah, you can get your
Surf
marine.
and turf.
Yeah,
You
precisely.
can get your marine guide's license.
I've
now
already
as
got
well.
that as well.
But it's another aspect of guiding, that you can get a certificate for marine guiding. But speaking of fish, this might have some personal resonance to you, but Steve was asking if you can name all the fish on the posters in FC.
Probably about 8 to 10 of them, but not off the top of my head.
Uh-oh.
I mean, there's the tiger fish, and there's the various different sharks, like the reef tip.
Yeah.
The white reef tip, black reef tip. The list goes on. Potato bass.
Okay, I didn't
Tons
even
of
know
things.
there were fish charts in FC. How much time I've spent in FC. In fact, I think it was the first couple of days that I was here when Hayden and Peter were here. It was raining as well, that I was in FC. But other than that, I don't. I'm out here all the time, and I think it's kind of what makes it so different. And that Alex is always there, and he's always backing us up and sending the questions through. So that's great. Thanks for that. It's been great having you, and also it's been great having somebody that has been able to follow that whole sort of routine of getting the drives going on time, it's just the whole directing thing. I mean, it's a completely new setup to what I used to know in the days when we used to switch from directing to camera to presenting, and one day you'd be presenting, another day you'd be directing or on camera, and it was a slightly different system, even though we had a lot more monitors in it. But it was doesn't seem to have been as complicated as the operating system that's being used now. And I think if I had to be behind the scenes and it went into a crash, I'd probably go into a flat spin. And we've always had these moments where we're about to go, we're live, and the leopard's about to get up and do something. Sorry, I just had a system crash. There's the elephant, and then there's. So it's taken a lot of patience and a lot of wits about you to be able to get things going up and running, get us back live again. It's not an easy thing. We are basically broadcasting live television or live high definition quality film from Land Rovers driving around in the bush. It's a concept that I still try and grasp at times, because it's such an amazing thing. I passed some guests from one of the other lodges today, and the woman leaned over to me and said, "You know, you have the best job in the world." And I sat and I just for a minute I was taken aback, and I thought, actually I do. And I said to her, "You know, I do actually. I get to drive around a vehicle that I love. I couldn't imagine any other vehicle other than this 90 Land Rover, driving a vehicle that I love in a place that I love, doing what I love, seeing the animals that I love." So it is pretty amazing.
For sure.
So yeah, I think Africa's bitten you, so you're not going back to the UK too soon.
Not for a while, no. I mean, I've been here a few times before, but it wasn't for as much of a long stint as this. Be just over a year now that I've been here.
Yeah.
But before that, it was a couple of months here and there. But I've definitely been bitten by the African bug. Definitely.
Good, Alex. Well, it's good to have you here,
Mm.
and I'm glad you followed your dreams and plans, because it's a big call moving all the way from where you did to here. It's a big step.
Yorkshire, yeah.
And
Yep.
Yorkshire. There's a Yorkshire. What do you call a
Yorkshireman.
Yorkshireman?
Yeah.
There's a Yorkshireman.
Yeah, they've had
Sitting around a fire in the middle of the African bushveld. We've probably got things like hippo and elephants and leopards behind us. So you've adapted very well.
Yeah, I mean, Yorkshire has some pretty vicious animals.
Oh, I'd
yeah.
be scared.
But we won't go there.
I'd be scared before I even walk
Yeah,
out.
I want to be able to sleep tonight, Alex.
But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure being here, guys. So I just want to say thank you.
Hello to everybody in Yorkshire. It's one of your boys.
But yeah, Alex, a big thank you, and well done, because you've had a very tough job out here. So
Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank
everyone
you.
appreciates your hard work.
Okay, right. I'm going to nip off and let these guys.
Yes, we're going
answer
to
some
also be
questions.
closing in a
Cool.
few more minutes.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you, mate.
Alex. Thanks, mate.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Cheers, buddy.
And that, well, I'm hoping that we at least get to sit around a fire, if not in front of the camera, but before we end off and we part ways. It's been a pleasure, Scotty.
It has been. It really has.
I've really enjoyed guiding with you. I think we've had a good thing going. We've passed the ball like ping pong with that,
Yeah.
with sightings very well. With of course Alex and Viam and Brian's help, the way they've done things.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful ride. We've got a week left to go.
Yeah, really looking forward to the last week and whatever it brings, and even the future. It's not all over yet, and it's hard to think that there won't be a future production. So we just need to make sure we get ourselves onto it somehow. So
I think this proves that Graham's ready to come back at a moment's notice and sometime in the future. I know that it's in his blood. I know that he does love doing this, and I think I can be confident in saying that I'm sure we will be the ones that will be coming along, and we'll hopefully find some other guys to join us at some point. I think that if anything, in years gone by, because of bandwidth and because of media and stuff, it hasn't really taken. But nowadays, I think it's a lot easier for people to get online, and it's a lot easier for people to have the bandwidth to be able to watch it. But there's also maybe a greater trend towards online media. We were with some people who used to have a wonderful print media magazine that are now mostly only doing an online magazine. And I think there is a great tendency for people to be moving onto the online world, and so to have a variation of a live camera instead of a bear's den or a bird's nest or a waterhole camera, to actually have a mobile camera driving around the bush, actually following animals and actually finding them. I think a lot of people don't understand that concept. So for now, we're not going to say goodbye as such. We're just going to say good night for now, because it is Sunday night.
yeah.
You're
sure.
getting up in the morning.
Yes, I've got an early start tomorrow, and it's getting harder and harder to wake up early in the morning. I'll let you know. The batteries are wearing thin, but let's be honest, when you are waking up to go on an adventure like we are going on, it's not too difficult, but it is getting harder.
And it's a little bit darker.
That as well.
Sun's only getting up when we get here, whereas before it was already up when we were leaving Manyaleti.
Exactly, that's a good point, Mark.
But that has been, I think, just to, I'm going to digress just quickly, just before I'm cut off from FC. But, because, you know me,
You'll carry on till midnight.
But I think that half hour in the morning and this half hour driving home has actually given us time. It's been the most amazing thing that we've had this commute. Rather than waking up and going straight out and drive, is that we have this half hour before drive, and we've had this, and now going home, where we bumped into all sorts of animals. But it also has gotten us into this, I suppose, mindset of getting the drives, and we're ready, we're there, because we've already been driving through the bush for half an hour.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcus, and look forward to the next week with you.
Yes.
Cheers, folks. Thanks for joining.
I'll see.
Are we done?
You said it's a wrap. If it isn't, bye, everybody. No, it's not yet. It's not yet.